URC round number 9 is kind of done. There's still 3 games to go in round number 9. The Welsh teams are yet to play. They're going to play in a few days. And the Bulls and the Lions, their round 9 fixture is going to be held in the end of February. So there were 5 games played in round 9. I watched some of them. We'll go through them pretty quick, see how the standings and whatnot are looking, and you guys can let us know your thoughts on this as we head into the new year. And another round of Champions Cup kind of on the way. But for the URC end of the year action for the games that were actually played, I thought there were some pretty good crowds out there. 40,000 fans for the Stormers and Sharks game. I think 40,000 fans for the Edinburgh Glasgow game. Pretty sure Munster Leinster was sold out as well. Zebre looked to have a pretty good turnout. Connacht as well. So yeah, it seemed to be a pretty good round of URC games for the ones that have happened in round number 9. Leinster up against Munster, bonus point win for Leinster away from home. Did a full match review on that one, but the kind of too long didn't read version, Leinster's defence is very, very hard to break down. Even when Munster had a man advantage with Leinster having a yellow card, they couldn't break down Leinster's defence. They even conceded a try during that period, so yeah, Leinster's not that flashy. They managed to still get 4 tries for a bonus point through McGrath, Prendergast, Van der Fleer and Doris, but it wasn't like cutting Munster to bits. It was more like strangling them. Yeah, it was pretty brutal. You'd like to see the home side get more than 7 points on the board. Like when Ahern scored at the start of the second half, it did look like they were going to get potentially back into the game because they were only a score behind, but Leinster just kind of took it away from them. Very, very hard team to break down. Leinster are 9 wins from 9 games in first comfortably in the URC this season. You feel like they've got a real statement to make in that competition this year, having failed to win it thus far. Munster are 4-5, still without a coach, in 10th, so outside of the playoff spots at the moment. Stormers and the Sharks, 24-20. That game had some proper drama. It kind of goes down to the wire, basically. This one, there's a lot of TMO. A lot of TMO. The Sharks had a try chalked off early. There was a shot on Andre Esterhuizen which got TMO. There was a potential penalty try for the Stormers not given, but there was a yellow card. TMO. Lots of TMO and a lot of drop ball. Like the turnovers conceded count was really high and quite a few missed tackles in this game. So I don't know that it was like the greatest game of skills on display, but the fact that it goes down to the wire in front of 40,000 fans where the home side kind of pulls it out of the fire at the death, I still feel like anyone who attended that game would be thoroughly entertained. Tries through Sinatla Fourie, good to see him back. Libok and Jean-Luc Duplessis in the 78th minute for the Stormers. Pinkler and Jordan Hendrickson got the tries for the Sharks. Like the Sharks took the lead in the 74th minute. So the fact that the Stormers were able to still go ahead and win it with those kind of 5 minutes to go, that's the drama that you want. I feel like that's what puts bums on seats at games. Maybe less so than the TMO, but yeah, Stormers needed a win and they got it. The Stormers are 4-4. Remember, South African teams are still behind because they started later than everyone else in terms of the number of games played. So they're in 9th, just outside the playoffs. The Sharks are still in the playoffs with a 5-3 record. They are in 5th. Edinburgh and Glasgow. Edinburgh needed to bounce back after last week's really disappointing hiding up against Glasgow. They were at Murrayfield, 40,000 fans like I mentioned. Like, it may not have been the most entertaining game. I only watched the highlights of this one. 3-0 half-time. A few missed opportunities and then tries each way. A penalty try for Glasgow, a maul on the 68th minute, and then Schoolman kind of spins out of a tackle from close range on the 70th minute. So, yeah, maybe a game for the purists. I don't mind that. Like, both sides' tackling percentages were in the 90s. Very few guys were able to bust the heap of tackles, barring Darcy Graham, who broke 5. But 1872 Cup fixture, at least Edinburgh managed to bounce back and get a win. They really, really needed that because, as I mentioned last week, they were especially disappointing. So it may not have been pretty. I feel like that's a game where the highlights probably don't do it justice. Anyone who watched the game in full will have to kind of give us some more insights. But both these sides are in the playoffs at the moment. Edinburgh on 4-5 in 7th and Glasgow 6-3 in 2nd. So, yeah, I feel like even if it was ugly, Edinburgh needed that because last week was ultimately more than disappointing. It was pretty bad. Zebre and Benetton. Zebre pushed Benetton last week to within a point, but they kind of got more well beaten this week at home. Benetton had a try chalked off early for Rhino Smith, knocking it on as he'd done all the hard work and scoring a try, just couldn't quite force it. But then Fischetti scored the first try for Zebre to put them in front. As I mentioned, it seemed like one of their better crowds. But Benetton replied with a couple of mauls through MUNvLEI, so yeah, they went back in front. They had a red card through Spagnolo. JC did score a pretty elaborate try out in the wing for Zebre, but despite the fact they got a red card and a yellow card, Brex was able to go over 13 men against 15, and then Marine got the bonus point try on the 86th minute. So despite a man disadvantage for at least a quarter of the game, the Benetton boys were able to still walk away with a bonus point win. Zuliani wins 3 turnovers in Benetton's away from home win. A bit of talk about Zebre's future potentially being in doubt. They could use some wins before the end of the season, couldn't they? So Zebre, not quite the bottom. They are 2-7 and 15th. Remember, the Dragons have still got a game to play on them. They're a game behind. And Benetton are 4-4 and a draw in 6th. So still in the playoffs. The last one was Connacht and Ulster. Connacht, with a kind of bit of the off-the-field drama swirling around with Mac Hansen's comments after that Leinster game. He's copping a bit of stick because Connacht did not play well. You have to wonder if some of the off-the-field drama did affect them. Like, did it have them distracted, or did they just play rubbish? They dropped an unbelievable amount of ball. Like, I thought the Stormers and Sharks dropped a lot of ball. Connacht dropped more. Just coughed up so much. So many missed opportunities. Kicking the ball dead. Like, yeah, pretty painful to watch. Did a full match review of that one as well. But you got to give credit to Ulster. Big defensive shift. And they scored a couple of tries. Eric O'Sullivan and Nick Timoney did really well. Like, Matt Hansen did get the one try for Connacht in this game, but yeah, Ulster with a few kind of academy boys in the lineup as well. Yeah, really put in a full defensive shift, which was really pleasing to see from them, despite kind of a few disappointing results in the build-up to this one. So yeah, much needed win from them. They are 4 wins, 5 losses, just sneaking into the playoffs in 8th. Connacht are still outside the playoffs with their 3-6 record in 13th. So we still have Dragons Ospreys, no we don't, Cardiff Ospreys and Scarlets Dragons to come in the next few days, which will almost finish off round 9 until the Lions and Bulls play at the end of February. Remember, Dragons and Cardiff did play on Boxing Day, so that was a 24-22 win to Cardiff, which was kind of also unaligned with the rest of the game. So the URC games are a bit messy at the moment. There's kind of a lot of unalignment. Like, I've been thinking of bringing back the power rankings at some point, but it is hard when they're all on different amount of games played. So that's a little bit annoying. But hey, there's been rugby on. It's been good to watch. As I said, some really cracking attendances. You can really feel the buy-in. Like, as I mentioned, South Africa was getting stick during the Champions Cup for the attendances, but 40,000 fans sold out, like from the tickets that were available, sold out Cape Town Stadium. Good turnout from the Edinburgh fans and whatnot. So, yeah, pleasing to see. You guys let us know your thoughts on the weekend's games. Still a couple to come from the Welsh side, but you guys take care of yourselves. Check out some of the depth chart videos if you haven't, because there's a bit of a gap between some rugby to come apart from the Welsh games, like the Irish depth chart, the Box depth chart, the All Blacks depth chart for all their 2024 usages of their squads. How did the coaches kind of balance things? That's all there on a playlist. So, yeah, check it out. Bit of work gone into that. Take care of yourselves, and yeah, talk to you guys again soon. See you later.